Scott, and hello! Hi there! I'm here at my scrapbooking desk, and as you can see, I have cleared it off, well, most of it. There's, I have a tanker desk, and then what you're looking at up here is the top of an expedite. And what I want to show you is how I'm going to clear the decks for 2016. That was my cat running across the room. So she'll probably make some appearances, so just be aware. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I have this tanker desk, and the top of it is, you can really mess it up, but I find for making videos, it's best when it has a white surface. So I just use some paper that I get from IKEA, and I tape that down onto my desk. So that's going to be my first, your first task is, number one, clear the decks. And then clean them off, make them shiny and new. That's step one. Okay, so now that we've cleared the decks, so I have cleared the decks. I have the cat as I'm remembering, because I grew up with cats, but I haven't had any in my adult life until now. They love a cleared off space. So do we crafters. So she's going to come right up here and make herself at home, of course. But the first step was clear the decks. The next step is out with the old. And in the world of scrapbooking, that's going to mean get any layouts that you have that aren't in albums yet, put them into albums. So I'm going to go get my stack. And I make these videos in real time, even though I'm stopping to actually do the work. In between, I'm walking across my room so that you can, just so you can see, I'm really doing it. And I don't know why I do this, but I do. I guess I just want to let you know this is real life. This is real life scrapbooking. So I have a bunch of page protectors here, and then I have a bunch of layouts that I have recently made. I'm just going to adjust the camera angle so that you can see me put these into the page protectors. I might not have you watch me put them into the page protectors, but I'm going to have you watch me categorize my layouts so that way you can see what the layouts are and then which albums are going to go in. Hold on just a second. Okay, scrapbookers, I just deleted the last video because it wasn't a great camera angle. So I think where I was going to tell you so I was going to review the layouts that I made last year and put them into page protectors. So I'm going to do that part off screen so you don't have to sit through that. And then I'll put them into the album. So I just wanted to review the old layouts and then tell you which albums they were going to go in. So this is a trip that my son and I took to Washington, D.C. So that will go probably into places we love, but it could also go into the School of Life because I'm homeschooling, and this was his week-long field trip. We did all the Smithsonians. It was super awesome. Loved it. Okay, this is a layout about my big Nana, who is my great-grandmother, and how she used to vacation down here in Florida. And so this will go definitely into an ancestry or family history scrapbook, and it will go under her surname. So I have those kind of like my 4 different grandparents. So she is my paternal grandfather's mother. So it's going to go in his section. Next up is a layout called A Week in the Life. And this is, this I had high hopes for. I was going to make a Week in the Life album. I didn't end up making the album. I did take a lot of pictures, and that was really great. And so I recommend that if you're in a picture-taking slump, do a Week in the Life just in terms of pictures, even if you're not going to make the whole album. So this was just one page about my process of making that week in the life. I think this was another one that was also from that same week. Oh, so this will either go into, it could go into my Project Life book because that's a well-neglected book in my life. I usually will end up doing Project Life after the fact with extra photos from that year. And when I find ticket stubs around the house, then I can just go to that album, plop them in where they go. My Project Life albums are not fancy. But I do mix in some full 12 by 12 layouts with the divided page protectors. So that could go into my Project Life album. It could also go into the album about me, or it could just go into an everyday life album. It's probably going to go in Project Life. That's probably where it's going to go. Okay, and then here's another one that will probably also go into Project Life, even though it's not all divided up. Because this really tells about every day from my perspective. And every day of that week in the life, I took a picture of myself in the carpool lane. And so I think it's important when you're putting together your scrapbooks that you say who wrote this who made this scrapbook, because I have some old family scrapbooks and it's not obvious who made the scrapbook. Like, for example, I have one scrapbook that was made by my great aunt Mabel for my grandmother, but the album is all about my grandmother. So if you looked at it, you might think that Ruby, my grandmother, made it, but she didn't. This is the kitty. Sorry, I guess this is just a scrapbooker thing, isn't it? Having cats in your scrapbook videos. So my daughter wanted a cat, and then she was in charge of taking care of it, so that didn't last long. So now it's my cat. That's a page that needs to be made about the year 2015. So this is probably going to go into Project Life. Next up is a page about a hike that my son and I took, and we have decided that we're going to hike the Appalachian Trail in 2016, and this is one of our practice hikes. And so this will probably also go into the School of Life album, although it could go into Places We Love. But this, the homeschool is a new experience for us, so probably these two pages, this is the field trip, and then this is a decision for our 2016 field trip, will go into his School of Life album, I'm thinking. Okay, get out of the way, kitten. The next up is, I think this is the last day of school, and we went to Busch Gardens, and my kids just will not go on the roller coaster. So it could go into Places We Love, it could also go into School of Life, or it could go into, we actually have a scrapbook for theme parks, because we live in Florida. So we haven't been to Disney in quite a while, but we end up going to Busch Gardens quite a bit. So that could go in the theme parks. It could also go into an album that we call Play. So there's that. And then we have a 2-page layout about a summer trip that we took. And this was a stop to a turtle farm. So this could go in the Places We Love album. It could also go into, I have albums for each of the 4 seasons, even though we don't really have each of the 4 seasons here in Florida. But I do have like a summer album. And so this was summer 2014. But I think it will probably go under Places. It sometimes just depends on how much room I have in the specific albums. Next up is a layout about my daughter's birthday, and I do have an album that is just for birthdays. So I have several, 35 scrapbook albums that I add to, and so, you know, a lot of them are full, but I shuffle things around so it all makes sense. But I do have a birthday album for each of the kids, and that's been in a post-bound album. I think I'm going to switch it over to a 3-ring, just because that's so much easier. And here's just another, I think this was, yeah, I made it, this was a 2-page layout, so that will go into that book. Those will stay together. Here's another one. This is also from that trip down to the Keys, but this is just about, you know, getting up and having a positive attitude. So this might be one that goes into our everyday life, and that's all about, you know, an All About Us album. I did take Stacy Julian's Library of Memories class years ago, and I use her categories for the most part, and then I've broken out and done categories of my own. Here is a 2-page spread, even though they have different backgrounds. They go together, and they're about the same thing. We did that hamster ball thing. You like roll down the hill. It was really fun. It was also a little bit terrifying, but I would recommend it. It was fun. I wouldn't do it again necessarily, but I'm glad I did it once. This is going to go in an album where I have layouts about this epic road trip that my daughter and I took. So that will go in that album. Here's one about, oh, where were we? That looks like all, yep, it even says Busch Gardens. So that could go in our theme park album. Here is a 2-page layout about a bicycle ride that my son and I took. And I feel like this could go also in his School of Life album, just because it's really about how curious he is. And we were looking at this drawbridge, and he had all sorts of questions about how the drawbridge worked. So that will go in School of Life for them, probably. The next one is toilet bowl fish. And they're not toilet bowl fish, but we have like a live bait well, I think that's what you call it, on our boat that looks kind of like a toilet, but it's not a toilet, so don't go to the bathroom in there. But that's where we're keeping the fish, and as we were fishing. This will probably go into the play album. I should really have an album just about boating. That's mental note. Okay, here's one about a spring break that my kids and I took out to Missouri to go visit my sister. And so that could go into under places, or it could go in the spring album. And here is a page about my grandmother when she was pregnant with my mother. So that will definitely go into an ancestry album, and that will go on my mother's side and her mother. So I really just, you know, break out those 4 different family groups. And then I'm also doing a lot of ancestry and family history pages with my husband's family. So he also has, I also have a section for him and his family, and that's really just broken up into his 2 parents, because I don't have quite as many pages about his side of the family as I do about mine. Here's another page. This was from our epic road trip where my daughter and I took a month and drove up and back down the coast, the eastern coast of the United States. So we went from Florida to Maine and back. Yeah, so that will go in an album that I don't really have a whole album for that trip yet, but it's under Places We Love, and really it could be School of Life for her, because that was a huge trip that we took, but it'll most likely go under Places, and then I have a section in that album for this epic road trip, is what I call it. And then eventually I might have enough pages that I would break out into its own album. Next, here we go. And so one thing I want you to notice is that it's great to go back through your old layouts, especially if you're getting ready to make some new layouts, because it shows you, hey, I know how to scrapbook, I can do this. You know, I've made lots and lots of pages here, so it's not, because sometimes you get to scrapbook and you think, well, what am I going to make, and what page design am I going to use? And if you can go through the stack of old layouts, you say, oh, I know how to do this. It's going to be okay. Hold on, I'm just going to pause for a sec. Okay, and I'm back. So this is a picture from a road trip, but it highlights the relationship between my 2 kids. So it could either go in that road trip. This was a different road trip. We're using that Toyota minivan. for as many miles as we can get out of it. It's we've had the same minivan for their whole childhood, and we're getting to the point where my husband's like, let's get a new car for you, and I think, nope, let's just run this one until she dies. So anyways, that was the long ride home from this spring break, the one where we went out to Missouri, and that's also from that time. So that will probably go into a places book, although I think this could go into a book about her, or it could go into a book about me. Yeah, but it'll probably go into the road trip one, into that particular road trip. And then this will definitely go in School of Life. I feel like I've done this before and then never put these away. Did I do that? If you've watched my videos, let me know. These are all looking pretty familiar. So this is when we, my son learned 3 different ways to create a fire without matches, and that was one of the first projects we did as part of homeschool. So that will go in his School of Life. And then this is a page about my friend's little boy and my little boy, and how my boy, he's not little anymore, but he always, I think he would have really enjoyed a little brother. So it just shows them together, and they're real sweet. They're both quite snuggly. So where will this go? This could go in the People We Love album. So about friends and extended family. Here's another Places We Love, and that was a ski trip out to Colorado, and we went to go see Mesa Verde. It was amazing. Here's another ancestry or family history page, and this is about a particular person, and so that will definitely go in that. This is Big Nana's other son, so that will go in that section of the ancestry file, so the Fenderson side. And then this is, okay, so this is my dad's mother, Ruby, and so that will go under her side. Now, what do I do with pages that are about both of them? Good question. I'm not sure. And then for this one, I actually made a companion page that is 4 4x6 photos. So I'll need to make sure that those stay together. And then here she is again. So all of those are going to go together. This is about my father's sister and her goat farm, and that will probably go into the People We Love. So while the people are still alive, it goes into the People We Love. If they're dead, then they're then they go into the ancestry or family history albums. There you go. That's how you do that. We also have an album for pets, and this is all about a duck that we raised from a chick, or a duckling. And here's more of that epic road trip, so that's Places We Love. And this was up in my kitchen for a long time. I really should make an album just about our ski trips, because this is the first year we haven't gone on one. I haven't been working because of homeschool, and so I feel like maybe we need to not spend as much money this year. So we don't have a ski trip planned for 2016, which is making my heart cry a little. But I do have a big adventure planned, so it'll all be okay. But I think I do need to establish a ski trip album. So it's quite possible I need to buy about 5 new albums to make, those 2 birthday albums that I was talking about, a ski trip album, a boating album. There are some places where I could definitely bump some out. And then one thing that I just did is I took one album and devoted it all to my father-in-law, and there's a whole nother series of videos that I'm making about that. And those are called How to Make a Tribute Scrapbook. And so that was a whole nother, album that is just devoted to him now. He died over the holiday, and we had his funeral, so I had that out during the funeral. Here's another spring. So anyways, I need to buy some more 3-ring binders, and it's great. They just provide a lot of great flexibility. So anyways, spring break, or this was a cruise, so this is places we love. Here's 2015 in the summer, and I think that will just go in our summer album, just to show this is what we were up to during the summer of 2015. And this as well could go in that summer album. This, my daughter and I rode gypsy ponies in the water. It was amazing. Or that might go in an album just about her, or her School of Life album, because that was really, oh, I just love that day. And here's one about my son. I think this will just go in directly in the book about him, even though it's about boating. It's really about being happy. So, and here we go. Summer. Which summer was this? 2015. So though, even though it says summer, I'm going to put it in the summer album, because this is how they looked in the summer 2015. And yeah, and so that book, the summer album, it isn't necessarily in chronological order, but you can kind of look through it and just watch them grow up through the perspective of that summer lens. And here's one just about my daughter. I'm almost thinking that I need to have a book that's about our relationship, because this book is about Talk to Me, and on the back I actually made a layout of about Keep Moving Forward, and these 2 pages are really about a friendship of hers that didn't work out so well, and just the motherly advice of, you know, come to me when things aren't working out very well, because I can help. And so I think that's another album that I might want to make. Okay, that's all for now. So step 2 in Clear the Decks is, out with the old, is put all of your scrapbook layouts into page protectors, photograph them if you need to, and get them into albums. Okay, hold on for step 3, but go do that first. Oh, hey scrapbookers, I'm back, and I spent a long time organizing my supplies. I did not videotape it, but I will just show you kind of an example of one of the ways that I organize my supplies. So these are dimensional embellishments, specifically wood veneers, and I just put them in this little craft organizer. I had these ones are the newest ones that I bought, so I just took them out of the package. They were on my desk because they were new, and I just put them into this container. So it doesn't have to be, you know, fancy, but it is good to, I think, go ahead and after your supplies are finished being new and exciting, go ahead and put them into some kind of organizer so that you can find them in the future. Okay, that is step 3 of Clear the Decks, and we're going to get to the fun part now of making a scrapbook kit. And that's really what inspires me to do some scrapbooking. So what I did was I just found the most recent things that I bought as far as supplies, and oh, I just realized I'm doing this upside down to me, which I think will be right side up to you, but it's going to make things confusing when I put them up on YouTube. Anyways, these are the most recent embellishments that I bought, and so I am going to use these as my inspiration for a scrapbooking kit. And really what I want to add to this, so I usually don't start with, I usually start with pattern paper, but here I'm starting with embellishments. So I have some paper clips, I have some titles, I have some ephemera, some brads, some chipboard, and more chipboard. So what do I need to add to this? I need to add pattern paper and letter stickers, and that's my kitty is very interested. And so let's go ahead and pick some patterned papers. Hold on, I'm going to actually turn myself around so it will make more sense to me. Okay, hold on. Okay, scrapbookers, so I'm here for the last portion of this project of putting together a scrapbook kit. So I'm going to be pulling pattern papers, and then we'll pull a couple of, what do you call them? Letter stickers. Yeah, letter sticker sheets. So let's, these are, I took these out to photograph them just because I was getting a lot of glare, but now that I am ready to move forward, I do want a way to contain them, so I'm just putting back the embellishments back into this packaging just so that they'll all be in one place. So one thing is to do this. So I have all these embellishments here, and I don't really need to keep them all out on the table. What I want to do is keep them out so that I can get some representative colors, so I'll know which colors to pull. So, well, this isn't really in there too much, so I won't pull that. Let's put that in that little bag. And then I think I will, since these are the same line, these are Simple Stories So Fancy, I'm also just going to put these in here just to have them handy, but store them close by. And now what I'll do is pick a couple of things from this chipboard set that will be representative. So I'm going to pick this one, so that will show me that there's some white and gold, and then the different colors of blue. So we'll keep that as inspiration. We'll keep, and really I think that incorporates most of these colors. There's a little bit of purple in here, but not enough to make any kind of a splash. There's also a little bit of darker brown there. There's, I like this contrast of the dark blue, just to make me remember about the dark blue, and I'll pull this pink also. So what I'm trying to do here is use some of the embellishments to really remember what colors I'm going to be going for when I'm looking to get the pattern papers. So we've got pink with gold, and really that pink matches pretty well. I hope you can see that. So that was Basic Gray and Simple Stories. I've got some black in there. I've got the blue with the floral. So like the dark floral. We'll put that in there. That's also this fancy, but I don't really need to pull that. I want to pull the yellow car just because, to remind me that there's yellow in there. And what else? The phone, I'll pull that because that's a motif that we may see again and again. And also I'm going to pull the feather for that same reason. And I think that's about it for that. The other embellishment line that I pulled to make this kit was Maggie Holmes' Shine, and there's 40 in this ephemera pack. So just by keeping a few things out, so this is, I like this piece because it kind of shows lots of different motifs. So we'll use that. This color we've already got. I'm going to use I'm going to keep this because it has, oh, there's that phone again. And in the yellow. Isn't that funny? So I'm not going to keep that out, but I will keep that brush script out. Really what I'm looking for is anything that doesn't go, or that we haven't seen so far. Okay, so there's a floral. We'll keep that out because we don't have a ton of floral out already. Got some butterflies. Let's see. So I'm really, and here's a floral again. This is more that teal color, but I guess I'll just keep that out like that just to remind myself that's something that I'm looking for. And I like this a lot because it gives me a little color palette to adhere to. So I'm just going to put that right over this just to give myself. This is really just so when I'm going through the papers, I'll say, yes, that matches, or no, that doesn't match. The rest of them are kind of the same, you know, so I have all the colors that I want to be represented here. So I'll put all the ephemera off to the side. Really, I should put that in in some kind of a container, but I'm just going to put it off to the side and hope for the best for right now. Hope that my cat doesn't come along and destroy it. So let's just move all this stuff just up a little bit so you can still see it, but it's not going to be in the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick, and I've got 4 pieces of just white. It's not even cardstock. It's thinner paper, but I'll use for photo matting, and that's really, you know, I find that that's something that I'm always looking for. Then what I did is I gathered up, so a lot of my pattern paper I divide up by manufacturer. So I pulled out 3 or 4 different manufacturers, and there's no way I'm going to use all this paper. And then I also picked out, these are the things that I most recently bought. So let's go through these first. And initially I thought I just wanted to pick everything from this pile, but I think that I don't want to do that. So we'll just go through and say like, yes, this matches, no, this doesn't. Okay, so there's gray there. There's the horses there. Am I excited about this? Not exactly. Because it's been sitting around on my desk for a while. But we'll just leave it for right now. This I like because it has the blue and the pink and the horses, which really does, this seems like kind of a girly kit, doesn't it? Okay, this one I'm definitely keeping because it is newer, and I almost feel like this is going to be my refrain. Oh, let's keep this because they're all the newer papers. So these are the Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers, which isn't like super duper new, but it's new in my collection. I like this because I've got the yellow and also the aqua and the different levels of aqua. So I will keep that. See, I'm going to keep everything. But I need to limit myself to like, I want to say 20 papers, but there's no way I'm going to do that. So I want to say 50 at the outmost. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll keep this as 7. Okay, this next one is a little grungy. So I'm going to actually say no to this one. So I will, that's going to go in my discard pile. This has red. There's not really red in that collection. So I'll say no to that one also. There's a little bit of wood grain here, and it's nice to have a little black, so let's keep this one in. That was We Are Memory Keepers, and this is Amy Tangerine, and we do have a lot of the brush, like the painterly kind of look, so, and the hot pink, so I'll keep that, and that's new to me, so I'll keep this too, just because that's from that same line, +1. So these were from 2013. So they're not super new, but they're new enough for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10. Let's just do this only 5 more times. And you saw that huge stack. Okay, so this goes in with that same +1 line, but the green really doesn't go with anything that I've got there. So I'm going to discard that. This pink really does, and I like the stripes, so I'll keep that. Another paper with a little bit of grunge to it, so I'm going to discard that. So I feel like we don't have a ton of grunge. This I like because it has a lot of colors, but I also don't think I could use that side at all, so I'm going to discard that one. Here's some arrows by Glitz with the painterly technique on the back, so that's a winner. Let's keep that. This is also +1. I love the basic black and white stripes on one side, and then it's got that painter look on the back, so we'll keep that. This is crepe paper. It's new to me, and I really like the colors. And it's got a nice ledger on the back, so I will keep that. Okay, the next one, these are kind of no-brainers because they come from the same line. So this is the So Fancy. It's a cut-apart sheet. Here's So Fancy with letters. I don't have these spaced out nicely. Hold on. Oh, we have to get this right? Okay. And then, so I'm going to keep those. Okay, the next one is also So Fancy. So we'll definitely keep that. And here's another So Fancy, and that matches that dark floral. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. I think that's the end of how many pages I bought of the So Fancy line. So I'm going to keep all of those actually. And next we are with this dark floral. This is not the same. This is Wildflower. So the dark florals are different here. But I do like the B side of that. So I will keep that. This is We Are Memory Keepers Wildflower. And I feel like the colors are really similar, so I'm going to keep those. Yep, I'm going to be definitely there's going to be 50. It's going to be crazy. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So we'll keep this one too. This is that Wildflower. And I know this doesn't go with all of the embellishments there, but it's paper that I bought recently. It's from 2015. Okay, so we've got the star motif in 2 places here. That's a good sign. See how I need to limit myself? But I think if you're going to go overboard in a kit, paper, so I'm keeping all of these. Paper is a great place to do it because the difference between having 20 sheets of paper and having 50 sheets of paper isn't all that big of a deal. But I think you should limit yourself. So even if it's a high limit, it's good to, see I'm just keeping. So each row has 10, so now I'm down to just 20 more. And fortunately, I'm almost done with the stuff that I've recently bought. So that is, and I'm just going to keep all of those just because they're new to me and all the colors match and I like them and I'm excited to use them. So, okay, now let's go through the next stack. So I have 20, I can do 18 more actually because there's 2 already in this row. So this is the Maggie Holmes pile. So I know that this chevron is probably going to be really useful. But I'm not sure I'm like excited to use it. So what I'm looking for now are things that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to use that. And because I've used this before, so it doesn't feel exciting to me. It's cute. And it will, the nice thing about the Maggie Holmes stuff is they will match. The colors will all match. I think that's mostly Maggie Holmes. Maybe that's something else. I feel like that's Maggie Holmes, yeah. This page is kind of calling to me. This is Webster's Pages, and it's got a floral, but it's on a white background, which is different than what I have in there right now. So I'm going to keep this one. So now I'm getting a little bit more selective. Not a ton more, but a little bit. So these were the new papers that I'm not going to use. These were what I'm calling my Maggie Holmes stack. I don't think it's all Maggie Holmes there though, but that I'm not going to use. Should I use this one? Oh, there we go. Okay, I have to be quiet now. So I'm probably gonna put the rest of this together tomorrow, but I'll probably kind of go through these and pick out the rest of what I want to use. Okay, I gotta go. Hey scrapbookers, so it's the next day and I finished picking out papers, and I did put that storage bin that I had on my desk before back onto my desk, and I filled it up with the papers that I selected for this DIY kit. Now this is probably about an inch of paper, which means it's way more than 20 sheets, but I like a lot of choices. This doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and it will give me enough options to not have to go looking, you know. Because I mean, truth is, I have like a lot more scrapbook paper than this, so it's just good to limit it in some way. You can limit it more, but I find that I like a lot of options with the limitations, so that I know that I want to be using these up. So I'm not going to look at this paper, like especially one of those newer Amy Tan papers, and say, oh, well, I don't want to use it because it's brand new. I'm going to use it because it's in this little pre-selected bin. I've grabbed a couple of scissors and a couple of Sharpies, which I like for journaling. So that goes right in the corner of my desk. I put my guillotine cutter back onto my desk. And the other thing I put onto my desk is a little container for those embellishments that I picked for this kit. So this will be like a temporary home for them, but they're right on my desk, and in the top drawer I found another set of ephemera. This one is by Amy Tangerine, and so I could just put those those die-cut ephemeras in their little like clamshell plastic holders that they came in, but I removed the other part of the packaging, and then the paper clips and the little hearts. And then in the next drawer, I did go ahead and cut out some of the cut-apart paper, and I put all of those in here along with a bunch of dimensional embellishments like brads and flare. And in that last drawer whoops, this should go up here, is the chipboard elements. So that's going to get me started on my kit. I am excited to start creating again. And the other thing that I did is I put ink in my printer and I printed off some photos, so I am ready to start scrapbooking in 2016. I hope you are too, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.